Now, to be honest, it's not that long ago that Herpa Wings gave us a model of a CSA ATR72, which was quite decent, but can its predecessor still convince us, even though it's from the year 2005 and 2006? We find out right after the drop. With that, hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where we today will take a closer look at an ATR72-200 of Czech Airlines. At the front of the box we have a lovely image of the aircraft in real life, and we have the CSA or Czech Airlines branding. Then on the back side of the box we have the same image once more. We're also given the original dimensions of the aircraft and some additional information. So that's all for the box. Let's take a closer look inside and at the aircraft model itself. And here she is, the ATR72-200 in the previous livery of CSA or Czech Airlines. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, Herpa recently, and with recently I mean 2019, released an ATR72 in their now also former livery. However, this model was made back in 2005 and 2006, so you would think that this model is way worse than what we got just last year. But is it? Well, we will find out right away. And so we start off with the tail section, where we on the vertical stabilizer have the former Czech Airlines branding. On the fuselage we then have the Sky Team logo, of which Czech Airlines is a member. Underneath that we have a crest or coat of arms, and I've been trying to find out to what city or region that belongs. It doesn't look like the one of the Czech Republic or Prague, but I wasn't able to find out to which city or region it belonged. If you know, then feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Then we also have the aircraft type specification, the flag of the Czech Republic, and the full registration code of the aircraft. The only detail missing here compared to the more recent release from Herpa Wings is the detailing around the APU exhaust. And then at the front of the aircraft and across the fuselage we have the writing of CSA Czech Airlines, the IATA logo, and we once again find a Sky Team logo. Of course, we also have here the door to the cargo hold, which of course on the ATR is in the front of the cabin. Now, we don't get too many details around the cockpit section itself. We only have the cockpit windows, and above those we find the last letter in the registration code. But what I do actually like about this model is the shape of the cockpit section. I actually do think that that looks rather decent. And then we of course also have the turboprop engines on this aircraft model, and although they're definitely not bad, of course in more recent models that is just a little bit more detailed, especially in the print. However, we do still also here have this little party piece that you can actually move the blades. And also a look at the wings here on the top side. I think that is perfectly fine. I really can't complain about it here. We also of course have the full registration code, which we then also find on the underside of the wings, and also here I think that looks actually very decent. Now, where there definitely is more of a difference between this release and the more recent release is the landing gear. Now, this is definitely less detailed, however it is also way smaller than the current landing gear, and in a way more true to scale. And then we have a printed detail on the belly of the aircraft, which I was a little bit curious about, because at first I thought it might be the landing lights, but those would actually be placed right next to this detail. What it is an air intake, and more recent releases also have it. It's just very visible here because of the white livery. So there we have it, the ATR72-200 in the former livery of Czech Airlines from Herpa Wings in scale 1 to 500. And what can we say about this aircraft model? Now, overall I actually rather like it. I think the livery looks good on the ATR, but of course there are some differences between this aircraft model and the more recent release from Herpa Wings. Mainly, for example, the lack of any detailing around the APU exhaust. This is definitely a point where the later release from Herpa Wings is better, but it isn't that far off. I mean, the wings look great, the engines have a little less detail in the print, and the shape of the nose is slightly different, although I can't really say that I prefer the new version. I actually think this looks pretty decent as well. Then of course we have the landing gear, which also very much differs from what we get today. While I do think that the current landing gear from Herpa Wings looks alright, it is definitely maybe a little bit too big, where this is much more true to scale, although much less detailed. So I guess the point is simply that I actually think this is a decent model. There are some weak points compared to the more recent release, but there are also definitely some strengths compared to the more recent release. So I guess ultimately the question is simply, do you like this livery and the ATR? If you do, then I would say absolutely, it is an aircraft worth having in one's collection. And with that, we have reached the end of today's episode. Now, if you have enjoyed this video, then don't forget to leave a like. That really does help out the series. And of course, if you are new around here, why not hit subscribe? That would be absolutely awesome. With that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.